welcome back to another episode of Musical Chairs with me, Cheer Up Charlie. And today we have the amazing, the wonderful, she's a falsetto. She started off with her sister as a sister act. She lives in you, Hella, Kimaniela. And she's an islander, she is an islander, she's an islander, she is an islander. Woo! So it is Gemma Knight Jones, everybody! Woo, 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 woo!
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So if you're ready, I'll get right into the questions.
Do it.
So, according to my mum, I was born singing. Was this the same for you?
Yeah, I'd say probably. I remember singing, I've probably grown up in quite a singing, quite household. My mum loves music. No one's particularly creative or does creative jobs in my
Mm-hmm.
household or my family, but they are all massively into music. So one memory I do have is that we'd always have a radio on in my house. And my dad's thinking was that it would be a deterrent for burglars or anyone wanting to maybe break in. So we always kept a radio on constantly, 24 hours. It was never off, Charlie. And I think because of that, music was just so a part of me. So I think I can recall lyrics from songs that I've learned or not even learned from absolute years ago. And I think that's probably a reason why this radio that's just been on in the back of my mind for as long as I can remember.
So, to succeed in anything, I think having a supportive family makes it so much easier. Are your family from the arts, or are they like mine and know absolutely nothing but still supported you?
Yeah, no, not massively into the, well, not they're into it, but they're not in it. And I'm the only one, I think. And
Mhm.
so I find that quite interesting. But in another way, my mum is quite creative, not from a singing and dancing point of view, but she is an avid baker. She always has been. She's a
Oh,
brilliant cook, and
awesome.
she does flowers, out of sugar flour. So she's quite a good little baker. So I think that's her little creative streak. She also quite likes calligraphy and also knitting. So she's definitely a woman that's really good, like with her hands. So I
Yeah,
think maybe some of my creative streak has come from her.
awesome. So, how old were you when you got your first big break? And do you remember where you were when you received the news?
Oh my goodness. Not that young to be honest. If and I'd say probably my first I'd signed with an agent if I remember correctly, and I didn't go to drama school. So that's news, might be news to some people. I was always interested in the arts and it was always something I did as an extracurricular activity.
Hmm.
But I was also quite scholastic. I really liked school. I never had an issue with going to school. I really enjoyed it. And when I got, I suppose, to A level age, I went and did my A levels, and one of them was drama. And probably at that point, it was a brilliant teacher who I still remember and still keep in touch with now, who for the first time, probably at 17 years old, made me think, oh my goodness, I might be able to do this as a job. His name was Mr. Lord. We still keep in fantastic contact now. He still comes to watch me in shows, so I'm hoping I'll see him soon at Come From Away. And he was just such an inspiration. We did some brilliant school productions. I want to say that one of those is my big break. Felt like a big break in the sense of me going,
Yeah.
oh, I might be able to pursue this as a job.
Mm.
But my first big professional credit was in a smaller production called Been So Long, and it was at the Young Vic. It
Awesome.
was, yeah, fantastic and really special and dear to my heart. The director and writer of it is called Shay Walker, another person I still keep in really good contact with now, and it was just fantastic because he was teaching me at the time, and then he'd said to our class, "Oh, I'm going off because I'm going to direct this show." And everybody at that moment was like, "Oh, let me audition, let me audition, let me audition." And I kept really quiet because I just found it a little bit cringy. I was like, "Oh, please." I didn't like it. And then I think I might have got in touch with my agent or somebody came to me and said, "Gemma, you should audition for this." And she was very much like, "You can't sing. Don't be silly. There's, yeah, okay, all right." But anyway, come in and audition. And when I did, I honestly remember his face being like, "Oh, oh, you can sing. Okay." And I was like, I know I wasn't just, doing what maybe some of the other people in the class were doing and saying that they could. and I got that job, so it felt so special. And we did it with Young Vic, and then we went on tour to Edinburgh Festival and stayed there for
Oh,
the whole.
awesome. Awesome. So, you trained at Identity Drama School before going to do a degree in media and performance. The more I research and speak to people, the more I realize that the arts is very costly. Do you believe that training should be accessible to everyone, and how can we help this happen?
Yeah, I do, and I think that's potentially, obviously you've got scholarships and stuff, but it's massively expensive, and I think that was what I was up against. I had actually did my degree before I went to identity, and I think that was the reason why I didn't want to go and do another degree. I'd already spent money on one, and for me that wasn't an option to go and do another one, and but it is great news that for me it's still been an option to pursue what I wanted to even
Yeah,
without. And I think people are seeing that now that that's a possibility. There's not just one avenue to
yeah,
get into arts, there are many. And I'm living, breathing proof of that. For me, I just went and studied separately, like different. I studied singing separately. I studied a bit of acting separately. I done dance and all of my own back when I could afford it and when I had the chance and the time to do it. But the good news is it that works for people, and you can still get
hmm
training if you don't maybe go to a more traditional institution.
yeah. Like the first way I got professionally, properly into the arts was through hashtag Cheer Up Charlie.
Exactly. And social
Like
media.
I'd done a few auditions before then, but never really like proper
Yeah,
getting into it.
exactly. So I think as I was talking about this actually with some of my cast members yesterday that with social media as well, that seems to be your new kind of audition platform in many ways. You're getting a really big audience. You don't have to pay for it, which is great, and you're able to put yourself out there, and that
hmm
lead to jobs and auditions. So that's
Yep,
great news.
definitely. So you've had some rather impressive roles, including Ragtime, Hairspray, Sister Act, The Lion King, Falsettos. But do you have a favourite and why?
It's so hard to choose. I'd say up there. I've loved all of the shows I've done because they've been so different, and yeah, I love them all dearly, and feel really lucky for all the opportunities I've got. But I think Hairspray for me was, yeah, was up there.
Yeah,
I loved the show. It's just so feel good, as much as there's a the serious issues that have been discussed underneath there. The music and the time in which it's set, it was the most fun that I've ever had. I remember my voice leaving me and I just lost my voice for quite a lot because I was singing so much. But it
yeah,
was such an enjoyable show. I loved Hairspray to death.
awesome. So, as everyone knows, my most favourite musical in the whole wide world is Come From Away. I could watch it every day. So, how incredible was it to get cast as Hannah?
Oh my gosh, it's the most incredible feeling because it's just still so new. And I am just still on like the top of the moon. I'm literally pinching myself that I'm playing Hannah in Come From Away. It's just amazing, Charlie.
I can imagine. So, what is your most memorable moment today? You must have so many, but does one really stand out?
Goodness, yeah, there are many. I think probably going back to this first show that I did, first big show, been so long, there was a crazy moment that I do remember. I
Yeah.
didn't have any covers in this show. I was a singer in this show, and it was a play with music. It was a bit different. Not, I think, a bit more of a broader musical. I wouldn't say it's a musical. I'd more say it was a play with music, and it was set in
A bit
London.
like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, where they have all the music, but it's still a play.
Absolutely. And the play, I think that's the main thing.
hmm
So for that reason, it was a very small cast of, I think, five actors and three singers. I was sort of part of the band, as it were, as a backing vocalist.
Awesome.
And in the rehearsal process, I had read in for one of the parts because one of the actors was busy doing something else. And like I said to you, I knew the director before, so he got me to read in when
hmm
this girl was still rehearsing another show. And then she got ill and we didn't have any covers. There was no contingency for what would happen if one of the actors got ill. And so on the day when it was realized that she weren't going to be able to come in and do her show, I got a call and said, right, Gemma, you have to go on and play this part. And I had not rehearsed this part, Charlie. Like, I know this happens sometimes when wings or covers have entirely rehearsed their whole track before they've got to go on, but I literally had done zero rehearsal for this role. And I remember being on the phone to my boyfriend going, I'm just not doing it. I'm just not. If they phone me and tell me I'm not doing it, and really was, and it was just because I was so nervous and scared about the prospect of having to be on the stage at the Young Vic and do this. And I did do it, obviously. I went in that day, we read through, and I literally did the show with the book in my hand because there was zero time. It was that evening, but it was the most amazing experience. And obviously, the reception from the audience was just none like I'd never ever had before.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember sweating a lot, but I got through it. Yeah, and then I think I did maybe two or three more shows. I was able to at least relax into the role a little bit before
Hmm.
I went back to the track.
Awesome, awesome. So, hashtag Chirp Charlie was born, and to my delight, continues to grow weekly now due to the bullying I receive for my love of dance and song. And I was very recently honoured to be a recipient of a Diana Award for my ongoing work. But I want people to associate me with acceptance and be proud of who they are. Have you struggled at all growing up with people judging, and how do you think we can get over these assumptions about who and what we should be?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably not anyone that hasn't at some point dealt with that, and I think, yeah, it's such an unfortunate thing that it is something that people still have to deal with.
Hmm.
What I think is great to see is that the awareness around it, and when these things happen to people now, people don't stand for it. You know, they do something about it like you did. And what is so nice to see that there are so many people behind you or anyone else all of a sudden saying that is not right. And
Hmm.
actually, yeah, I'm going to say to you, it's not right. And I think that's where the change is, Charlie. If
Yeah.
people say and people are then supported once they say, then that's the start. It's when people are, they don't say anything and they feel out of fear or whatever the feeling is that they don't say anything. That's when obviously that can continue on, and that bullying or whatever it is, that judgment can continue.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't recall off the top of my head um, any times that have massively affected me, which is great. But I definitely take um, yeah, comfort, I think, in the fact that I know, even from other people's experience, that I know if that stuff does and will happen to me, that I know that I
Hmm.
stand for it, not.
Yeah. Definitely. So, have you ever suffered any form of bullying as a child in the playground or in the industry where it seems to be more common in the form of online trolling?
Not trolling, thank goodness. But I think I don't spend so much time on social
Hmm. Yeah.
media, or maybe just not famous enough. Who knows? But bullying, yeah, probably like younger, and I think it's sort of part and parcel of growing up, unfortunately, because I think kids can sometimes be a little bit awful to each other. And again, I think I've been quite lucky in the sense that I've always had quite strong friendship groups.
Yeah.
And so if anything like that did happen, I've always had a nice core group of people around me that I could turn to, and equally as well, a nice strong family unit. My mum's quite a fiery spirit, so I know if there was ever any trouble with me or my younger sister, that my mum would have been down at that school to sort it all out.
Yep. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, one thing I do notice about the arts is no matter how busy you are, you always make time for charity concerts and speaking to people like me, sorry, and generally giving back. Are there any charities that are close to your heart that you work with?
So acting for others is one that I've done
Hmm.
work alongside, and a lot of the theatres do get involved
Yeah.
in that. I also support an online platform as well called the Black Ticket Project, and they help disadvantaged children or young adults from areas in London that, again, perhaps can't afford the provisions of
Hmm.
art. I'm a
Yeah.
patron of that and pay a monthly subscription because I think that's a fantastic um, a charity that's happening to help, like I
Awesome.
said, the people like me, when I was growing up, that they're helping other
Yeah.
children that are maybe, like I said,
Hmm.
disadvantaged from a certain group of people, and that like the arts, because it should be accessible to everybody,
It should.
like you're saying. It is expensive, unfortunately, to go and watch shows a lot of the time. So I hope my little bit of money with that really does help a bit to get some more young people excited about the arts and
Yeah.
show them that this is possible, either to watch or to actually be involved in and be a part of.
Mhm. And it's definitely really expensive to get the tickets unless you want to sit at the very back where all you see is the back of someone's head and not even the binoculars that are in the seats that don't work can even help you see.
That's right. Yeah, it is quite
Yeah,
expensive.
so it is a tough world in the arts, and if you'd have not pursued this career, what would you have done?
Oh, it's such a good question, and I think I've been asked it before, and it's a hard one to answer. Um, it would probably be something to do with event managing. I'm quite bossy. I like organizing things. Maybe it's the
Yeah,
older system, but it would probably be something with events that I could just, have a little microphone on and be like, directing people and telling them, these tables and chairs go here, here, this is the time the entertainment starts, this is the time we finish the event. I think I'd quite like that power and control.
awesome, awesome. So now's for some funny questions. So, what is your biggest or strangest fear? Or both?
Oh my goodness. Biggest fear. I've probably faced my biggest fear in this last year, not being able to do what I love on stage. The theatre's closing down and me not being able to do my job.
Yeah, awesome. So, I know most people would think you're perfect, but what do you still most get in trouble for doing? Mine is doing everything 1,000 miles an hour and never shutting up.
Yeah, I've say I've got two. I think talking too fast.
Yeah,
That's one. My
I do
mum's always
that.
for that. Slow down, Gemma. Okay, yep. So talking too fast and talking too much as well. I think there's lots of chat. I'm very social, and I should be concentrating and listening. And often I'm having a laugh with somebody in the back.
Especially when I'm talking, I either because most of the time I generally can't whisper because of my hearing aid and that. So when I talk, I talk. I don't. Hey, yeah, this is really cool. Okay, let's just talk a bit down because Mum's tired. Nope, nope. I talk loud, and sometimes I can't even help it. Sometimes I can. Yeah, so now I know this will be hard for you, but now you must amuse the child in me. So, what's your most disgusting habit? And there's some really bad ones coming out, so don't worry.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I pass winds just quite a lot. That's just something there. It's just a bad one. Yeah. It's maybe that. That's a really bad habit. And also, I don't stop my child from picking his nose because I quite
Ew.
enjoy picking the nose as well. So my little 4-year-old loves picking his nose and generally at the moment eats it and
Oh.
don't really say much about it.
So, have you got any embarrassing moments that you would much rather forget, but no, you never will?
It's probably a lot of again on stage, like just forgetting words for things in the moment. I remember just doing gigs and looking at people next to me for the lyrics, and they just totally left my brain, and it's the most you feel like it lasts for
Yeah,
an hour and it probably is about 3 seconds, but it's the most awful feeling, and then your heart is just beating out of your chest for the next 30 seconds while you calm down and get yourself leveled off again. So it would have to be that, and that's a regular thing, we're all
yeah,
human. It happens probably quite more often than people think that it happens, that people forget things or do things wrong on stage. We just sort
yeah.
of mask it relatively.
Well, on my first ever professional play, when I had a silent role that just came running in and out, playing all the time, and then in the end of the play, played a really prominent role. But I can't really talk about this because this is a family friendly channel. Um, but basically, and one time, so I had this light, and when it turned green, I had to press the red button to tell them that I was going on stage. Whereas one time, I saw the green light and I just ran on with the toy my character was meant to have. I didn't press the red button, and then I got back and pressed the red button, and it was like, oh no, I
So
forgot to press the red button. So that was fun. So now's for a round of quick fire questions. Chocolate or Haribo?
chocolate.
Text or talk?
Talk.
Heels or flats?
Flats.
Favorite city?
Barcelona.
Awesome. Last song downloaded.
Say that again.
Last song downloaded.
Oh my goodness. Something from Come From Away.
Probably, yeah.
What was that?
Favorite place to eat?
Oh, that's so hard. Anything to do with sushi, a sushi place, any. Well, as long as
Awesome. Superpower.
to disappear.
Woo! First celebrity crush.
Oh, oh, Henry Cavill,
Don't know.
Superman.
No.
You do know, you do. Superman, the latest Superman.
Oh. No, I don't watch Marvel movies or superhero movies.
Goodness, I love them.
Childhood book.
Burglar Bill.
So, thank you so much for doing this, Gemma. It was a pleasure and an honor interviewing you.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I've enjoyed my morning so much with you, Charlie.
Thank you so much, Gemma.
You're welcome. I hope to see you at Come From Away soon.
Definitely. Bye. What an amazing interview, everybody. If you want to see more interviews like that, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on them notifications. Oh, and look, Chip Charlie merch, Chip Charlie hoodie, whoop whoop, coming out very, very soon. You need to get it when it comes out, okay? So remember, keep being kind to yourself and others, and keep letting your light shine. Bye.